Well, well, well. Looky who we have here.
A bottle of Diet Pepsi.
A train!
A horn! Wait, the creepy guy from across the street.
I hope they don't listen to our show.
That only has one window.
With a shiny silver thing in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, that only really does have one
Can you
window.
get a picture of his face? Looking like, woo!
Wow. Hi ladies. Where do I sit?
Anywhere you
You can
want.
sit.
Oh, you can hear me from all over here?
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Have voice will travel.
Awesome.
Alright, everybody, we have the wonderful Mr. Matt Metal.
Woo! Woo!
Don't be so excited.
Woo! Woo!
Yes.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay, good.
So tell everybody who you are.
My radio name is Matt Metal. I have, which maybe you guys don't know, but starting in October will be my 30th year doing college radio, which is amazing, and will be my 28th year of doing the Matt Metal Show.
No, it's true because I remember listening to you when I was in high school.
Yes.
So when over by, I remember you were always at
EMOS or what?
No, I went to Allen.
Oh, God bless you.
I know.
But, yeah, it's, I mean, we got started. I was dating this girl, Karen. We were just tooling down the hall, and I hear this Motley Crue song coming out of what I thought was always a closet. Because how the door always opened covering the WXLV sign. So I thought, who in God's name is playing Motley Crue coming out of the closet? And she goes, oh, that's my friend Kamikaze Craig.
Oh my God!
So we waltz into what I think is the closet, and there's this, looks like a closet, little itty-bitty 2 turntables and a microphone and a little board and a TAC reel-to-reel machine and a cassette deck and all kinds of carts, and there he sits. And I'm like, how do I get involved doing this? And he told me how to get involved, and I signed up 2 weeks later.
Nice.
Yep, and yeah, back then you had to get a radio license and train and do all that stuff, but I never looked back since. I love it.
And it's been a rock and roll party ever since, huh?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I don't remember with that rock and roll party.
There's. I remember every Friday night.
I remember that, but it could be after the show.
Oh yeah, but I remember every Friday night we used to getting ready to go out. Got to listen to the show.
8 to midnight.
Yep, get ready to go out. You had to listen. And there was like, oh, we're gonna miss it.
Nah, just think if like I say to Chris, the guy that runs it now, just think of how big that little college station would have been if we had the ability of what we have now. But and no hack against who's on there now, but with the people that were on there back then, with all the different personalities and all the different music we played and covered, it would have just been completely out of this world. Yep.
It was really cool.
It was our biggest audience that we could fit, because we would go and do all the Arbitron ratings. Really was the polka audience in the Lehigh Valley. He had
polka.
Oh, there was a big show.
Oh yeah,
there's a polka
Tuesday,
show.
Thursday, 3 to 6. That
big.
guy,
it was huge.
That guy, Joe Vargo, had realistically, I thought I would get a lot of requests. His whole show was requests. From 3 to 6. He had letters and everything. And he brought in his albums, and he would have the letters in the albums all ready to go. There was no phone calls, take a request. He would write that down for the next week. If you called in, you didn't hear it till the next week. And he had, he'd read these letters like Casey Kasem, on the air.
On the air.
And he, for me, it all sounded the same. I grew up with it, but his show, unless it was slower or faster, but he was just the man. And I learned so much from... Because when I had my other air shifts, I was done right before him. And I learned so much from him with talking on the radio and, not being afraid to say certain things and, blending music and reading on the air is a toughie for some people. He taught me a lot. That guy was good. I like that guy. But yeah, he had the biggest show, I think, of college radio in the Valley back then in the day. Not just us, MUH and LVR. He was huge.
Polka.
Yeah.
Polka.
Look at Music Fest.
Well, you're from Virginia.
But look at Music Fest.
Is the king up here.
They have it at Music Fest. They draw the most crowd.
That's what Music Fest started around.
Yeah, when they have the polka. There are people 4 years old up to 94 dancing. It is the biggest crowd. It's the polka crowd there.
But you go to the Sagerbun, right? On a Friday night. Have you ever been there?
I've been there twice.
Okay, so you know how the pavilion is like that? That night used to be like that. The stage was the stage, and then that was all wide open. I lived 3 blocks from there, and every Sunday it was $1 to get in, and they had all that food, that good German food going on for real cheap, and my mom and I would walk the 3 blocks, and we'd go up, and you had to learn to polka at a young age. And it wasn't you were dancing with your mom. You were dancing with some older woman that would just grab you and say, come on, Sonny, let's go. And I didn't know
deal
that
around
people
here.
were, and you just went. It was one big happy community up there, and I have a lot of friends whose dads still play in polka bands, and some of my buddies actually will play because they play instruments, and they actually go and sit in with polka bands, and
It's you
big.
would believe it. It's big.
Well, Tracy, you look like
She's like,
you need a picture of
I
that.
don't get this,
Because I don't. I'm sorry. Polka is just not my thing.
Well, it's not my thing either. But you know what?
I wish I'd known this ahead of time. I
But
would have
you
thrown some
need-
polka.
You seriously, even though it's not my thing either, it is probably.
It's the happiest
It's so
music
much
in the world.
fun to see all these. It's just so much fun,
Yeah.
and you don't like the music, but for some reason, when some 80-year-old guy grabs your hand to go dance polka with him, you get your ass out there and you do it.
Yeah.
Because it is so much fun.
Yeah.
You seriously need to do it one time, just once.
Did you never polka?
You never. Polka.
No, I've
Are
never
you kidding
polka.
me? Wow, you're a polka virgin.
We're gonna
Yes,
have to
I
bring
am.
her.
Break your cherry. No way. Look at that.
We're gonna have to bring you to polka.
Polka
Yeah.
just makes you want to drink beer.
Mm-hmm.
That it just.
And
I would probably
and it's
have to
rock.
drink a lot of beer
No,
to get out there and
not at
dance it.
Not at all. And really,
That's
Music
fun.
Fest, that was the big thing.
That
back
was-
then.
that
Before
was
you
it.
had all the other big plazas, it was all wrapped around. They used to bring these cool bands in from Germany and Austria.
Oh, yeah.
Every year they'd fly. And the place down there would just, you couldn't even move. That's how packed it would be. And not just from people walking. It would just be that packed with people to see these bands from all over the world to come in.
Oh yeah,
It was
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
You never thought we'd talk about that on your radio
No.
show, did you?
Oh, you know, there's
All
a whole
genres of music.
spectrum
Right.
of shit that we talk about on this show.
She never
so,
expected polka.
But yeah, polka was just not okay. I guess next music fest I'm gonna have to go to polka night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see,
we're out there
see
all
it's
go.
sad that there's a polka night. It used to be every
Oh,
night
every
at,
night.
at Fest Spots.
Yeah.
It was every night. You know,
It was a blast.
it was a blast.
All right, so next
honestly
year
think
we're
it took it down.
going.
I hate music
And
fest,
you're
but
gonna-
I will bring
I
her
want-
to that.
I honestly
But I
think
wanna
that's
see you
what
out on the floor
ruined Music
dancing.
Fest for me.
But-
Is they
oh, yeah.
changed that 10 around to all. You have all those other plotches. Put the country out there. Do whatever. Keep that your mainstay of what your guts was made all about.
Yeah.
You know.
With the Steins and all the German food and all that. That was so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Steins,
Yes. Liechtenstein
They have-
or
Oktoberfest this
Yeah.
weekend, and
Yes.
they've been advertising it on the radio. Barrel races, some kind of Stein competition. I'm thinking to myself, barrel races? What the hell do they do with the barrel races? What is that?
that must be
Like, do
a
they
new
roll
thing
each
this
other
year.
down the street or something?
Oh,
Or
is that Oktoberfest at?
at Steel Stacks?
Oh,
The one at Steel Stacks.
Oh, you roll. I think you roll the barrel.
You roll it.
I've never been to that.
You're not inside, you just roll the barrel.
Yeah.
Nobody's inside the barrel
Oh,
when you roll
damn
it.
it! Someone should be inside.
I've never been. to
That would make it fun.
There's something else going on this weekend, too.
I always go to the one on at
In
the end of
West End.
19th Street at 19th and Allen for the West End Oktoberfest.
West End Oktoberfest.
Helped put on by our good friend Jody Hawk and his lovely wife.
Is that
Suzanne.
this weekend?
That is Saturday.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's a
So
lot
West
closer.
End Oktoberfest
It's
is
Saturday.
this Saturday,
Yes.
and so is Oktoberfest in Bethlehem.
Yes.
But they're 2 weekends, right?
That's 2 weekends for
Yeah.
that one. Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
but West End always pulls in a pretty
A big
good
crowd.
I went
pretty
last
good
year.
crowd, Yeah.
Stood in the rain.
Yep,
Yeah, we all watched End Zone.
yep,
No.
yep.
Yep.
And then when it started raining, we all went across the street to the gas
Gas
station,
station.
standing underneath the canopy.
Yep, we stood there like a bunch of wussies. We can't get wet, we'll melt!
I'm
Yep.
melting. I
Yep.
can see Tracy now. I'm melting with a little hat. Like the
Oh, my
Wizard of
gosh.
Oz.
Well, it's not supposed to rain Saturday, so that's
It's going
good.
to be beautiful.
And then you have Stereotype is going to be playing, finishing the show, which will be fun. Once again, a bunch of local guys and putting a new thing together. That'll be a good night.
Is that with Stacy?
No, that's
that's
with
the other one.
That's with Dave and Ruben and
Oh, wow.
Mike Stanley is singing, and I don't know who else is in the band.
Okay.
I just know it's them having
Okay.
fun.
So there's another band put together. I can't remember their name.
Vinyl Tap was
Yes,
is the other one.
Vinyl
Very
Tap.
good. I've seen them
Yes,
twice.
yes.
Twice, 3 times now, and I've
There's all these new things popping up.
yeah. I just think Mike Stanley's a hell of a singer. I mean, I've known him for
Well, he trained
years.
in opera, right?
Huh?
He trained in opera.
I have no idea what he trained in. All I know is that man can
I think
sing.
he's trained in opera. So is Alex. Alex is trained
There's
in
a
opera.
lot of good singers out there that when you find out they're training opera, you're like, aha, that
Yeah.
explains a lot to
Yeah.
me.
Aha.
Aha.
All right. Well,
Yes.
the first 2 songs that you heard, the first one was Mongrel with their song Snakes. They're out of Eastern Massachusetts. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, mongrelband.com, Reverb Nation, Sonic Vids, Bandcamp. Check out their Facebook page because they have their official video for the song Snakes now posted, and I watched it last night. It's pretty cool. It's like 3D cartoon characters. And then the second band was Loki out of Portland, Maine with their song Enter Me. And you can find them on LokiFever.com, Facebook, iHeartRadio, MySpace, and Spotify.
I see your Loki and all I can see is Thor.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Calm down.
I'm alright, I'm good. I got my soda.
You have your Diet Pepsi bottle.
You had hot dogs earlier.
Oh, boy.
You had weenies earlier.
Yes.
Loki.
I had that almost taken care of before I got here.
We're all good. We're all good.
Oh, God.
So what's we got on deck next?
Here. That one, and then that one.
Make me say that?
Oh, yeah, that's right, because that's a weird one.
Yeah, she always butchers a name, so when she knows she's going to butcher them, she'll make me.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Lanochka?
Mm-hmm.
Just do what Vince Neil did. Just go blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you'll be perfect.
Next is a band called Lanochka with Good Luck, and they're out of Los Angeles, California. We're doing a double.
Uh-huh.
And then right after that, we're going to play a band out of Philly called Long Miles with Girl Don't Come Around. And
Woo!
whoopee.
Are you going to give the information or people can find
Oh, I
out?
guess.
You slack.
Lanochka. I hope I'm saying that right. Facebook, Twitter, and they have their own website, lanochka.com. You spell that Lenachka. And then Long Mile, Facebook, longmiles.com. There's an S on the end of that, Miles. Reverb Nation, Twitter, and Bandcamp. So everybody's all over the place. What?
What do you think of when you hear the word Bandcamp?
I think
of American Pie.
Exactly. So that's how I'm laughing.
One time at band camp?
Yes.
And you have a young girl at home, so she's getting that little question mark at the end of the sentences.
Oh, she's 11 going on 16.
Exactly. One time.
All right, we'll be right back, guys.
What's wrong with me? I'm going crazy, crazy. I'm not the type to lose control. Something about you got me thinking maybe, maybe it's time for me to just let go, go, go. Didn't take that long for me to realize you were just another kid telling lies. Good luck doing what you're doing. It's not me you're fooling. You thought I'd never know. Good luck, you put on a good show. Had me in the front row, but now the curtain
Girl, I thought I told you not to come around here with that smile. But you disobeyed me and you made me think about you for a while. And now you come around, walk into my life looking so fresh and so clean, yeah. But you haven't lost your touch, so let's give it a go if you know what I mean. 'Cause girl, I forgot you were the finest. I forgot how I used to boast. I forgot about your flyness, about the coolest fucking mama on the whole East Coast, coast. What's a man to do when it's been so long? I realize you're hurting, but you're flirting, and you know that it's wrong. I have this feeling deep in my soul like I can barely move. I'm under your control, but I have searched the whole world through. Somehow the path I choose leads right on back to you. 'Cause girl, I forgot you were the finest. I forgot how I used to boast. I forgot about your flyness, about the coolest fucking mama on the whole East Coast. Girl, I forgot you were the finest. I forgot how I used to boast. I forgot about your flyness, about the coolest fucking mama on the whole East Coast. In your curse, but I guess that things could be worse. I need some loving, girl, so please quench my thirst. Coast.
And we're back. Woo! So, Lenachka and what's it? Oh, I haven't gotten to the other ones yet. But Lenachka actually found her music on Twitter. So
yes,
Twitter.
And there are a couple bands that were playing today I found on Bandcamp.
One time?
No, not Bandcamp. SoundCloud.
You're going to think of that all the time.
I know, it's going to drive me crazy.
Yeah. So, anything you want to bitch or rant about?
Yeah, you got a bitch or rant.
I'm good.
I can't believe that.
Are you surprised?
I'm very surprised that you're not bitching about something.
Oh, you know, honestly.
Oh, there you go. There's something.
No, honestly, it's really not worth it because I decided that the actual person that is usually the brunt of my bitches and rants.
Yeah. Let him get to you.
Yeah, I'm so much better than that person.
Yeah, so don't worry about it.
That it's really not. And the thing is, the cage gets rattled so much more when we're quiet.
Good.
Because it makes that person wonder what the hell are they up to.
Yeah, but you see, you don't even let them bother you. Just F it. It's not worth it anymore.
No, it's not. I just kind of sit back and let everybody tell us what's going on, and we listen and we laugh and hope. Well, we do. We're hoping.
Well,
to
I ain't gonna lie.
next weekend.
I don't trust that person.
Oh.
That when
So-
trust is a big issue.
I am real close on her heels.
Yeah.
I pay very
I sit
close
back and let
attention
other-
to
I don't know who it
everything.
is, so
Well, that's okay.
That's fine.
And we usually don't. We will never.
Just trust.
We're
the
not the
iced
type of person who. We're not. We won't sit here and bash anybody by name ever.
Yeah.
That's just completely not our style. But the trust has been breached, and we,
tea. Cut the cord.
and
Oh yeah, cord was cut
long
almost 2 years
time
ago
ago.
for me.
But it's like, we might be heading out to a pretty big show this coming weekend.
Right. Where are you going?
Hopefully the Oak Bar, what's it called?
The bar on
The
Oak.
Bar in Oak and Pittston.
I don't know where that is. I don't even know where Pittston is.
It's up towards.
It's up by Scranton.
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 We might be going to this show because I literally,
Who's playing?
Well, we were invited.
we were invited to Threat Point,
Okay.
their CD release party, and I was actually, we were invited online, but Chris, the singer, actually came up to me personally and said, we would really love to have you guys
That's awesome.
coming to this show. And that right there, my husband has surgery Thursday and the show's Friday, and he knows
Yeah.
I really want to be there. And so, my mom's like, I'll check on it Friday. My kids are like, we'll take, because we really want to go. Now, it's always money and traveling, and I'm always a designated driver, which is fine because I don't drink anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just like, do I really want to go up there? But you know what? The fact that we were asked, and this is important, and
They have the national act, I Kill Ya,
I Kill Ya's
that's playing at their CD release party.
Okay.
And, Ion Magazine
Okay.
is going to be represented there. When we show up, we're promotional partners with them, so we are actually representing Ion Magazine anyway. So technically, even if we wanted to be stupid and act up,
You can't.
we can't.
Yeah.
We
I
are
got it.
there represent, and that's another thing. When we are very well behaved and we're just whatever, walk away, the rattles cages, and that's okay, because I would rather rattle a cage like that
Yeah.
and come up on top than rattle a cage because I'm acting like them
Right.
on the bottom.
I got it.
So yeah, I'm hoping that it all works out for Friday, because like I said, the request being asked
Yeah.
really, it was a big deal to
That's
me.
good that
it
day,
really
you know.
made it
And
made
if you
me
can
feel
go,
really
you guys should try to go.
good. Yeah. And hopefully we had done a video interview with them
Uh-huh.
a while back, and they replaced a guitarist. So that video interview won't be used, so we're hoping, they said they'll definitely do another one. And
Okay.
you never know. Maybe
Yeah.
we can get something going Friday if we're there.
But that was actually fun. Our first video
Never
interview.
done that
was
before.
so
It was a
much
blast.
fun.
Good.
It was such a blast.
The one
Good.
guy who works for Ion, he's a photographer and a videographer. He had the, thing, the whole thing on with the video, and he's going around and he's like getting from all angles, and we just had I was really nervous because I'm much better. She's much better in front of people.
Uh-huh.
Like when we MC events, she's
Yeah.
the one on the mic. I'm like,
Yeah, I practically have to like tug her by her ear to come
drag me
up.
because I'm just like whatever. Here I'm fine.
Yeah.
But in front, it took me a little while, but then they were so much fun, and she was just out there just having a ball, and I was like, you know what?
Oh, I was dancing.
I'm like, let's just do it, just no holds bars, just throw caution to the wind, and I had a blast. I was like, you know what? I could get used to this.
Nice.
So it was fun. I mean, but yeah, I'm not good in front of people.
It's all right. I took a class at when I was at L-Tri-C, public speaking, and I, like I said, listening to Joe, I really learned on radio because we had a glass window to this back studio, and with the light off, you just see your reflection and see
Right.
yourself. So the thing he taught me to was just talk to yourself, which I do a lot, so it doesn't matter. And I answer, so it really doesn't matter. So that's how I became comfortable, being on the air and doing that kind of stuff. But that public speaking class really helped out a lot to stand in front of other people, that you don't know.
Right.
And, and Tom McCool is another one, God bless his soul. And he was another one, just say, just don't look down. That was always his big thing. When I first started emceeing at the music hall, and there'd be 1,500 people there, and I'd be like, Tom, man, I'm shitting bricks. It's one of my first times ever. And he's like, just don't look down. I go, what do you mean don't look down? He goes, Matt, there's 500 people upstairs. There's 1,000 people downstairs. Look at the people upstairs, because we're going to shine a big white light at you, and you're not going to see them anyway. read the stuff that I'm giving you to read, all the promotional stuff, and don't look down until you feel comfortable.
You actually said that to me.
So the first couple times, I didn't look down. I tried to read through the damn white light on a white piece of paper line, which was very difficult to do, so I used to turn myself sideways. So now I was even looking to the side of the stage, so you really didn't see anybody until I started feeling comfortable. Then I would look down. And I point, shake hands, do whatever, say hi to the people upstairs.
But the whole thing about talking to yourself, like when I did that benefit for Tony and you helped me out, and you told me that I was getting up and I was going to introduce Scott Marshall's Highway, but they did what you call it? Oh my God, what the hell did they do? The reunion for Sweet Tequila.
Oh yeah, Sweet Tequila.
And
right.
you said you have to be the ones.
Right.
You have to be the one to do this. And he basically said to me, or you did say, don't look down. And I said, I don't know what to say. And he said, just talk from your heart. Just do it. And once I got going, it was actually pretty easy. But oh my God, I was scared to death.
Because when you look down, you catch people's eyes.
Right.
And when you catch people's eyes, then you notice there's hundreds of people staring at your eyes, and that's when you go,
oh shit.
You look straight out, especially if you're on a stage. You look straight out. You look over the top of their heads.
Yep.
That's all.
The last thing you want is to see somebody go rolling their eyes at something you said.
I say, what do you have a problem with that?
Oh yeah, then that's when I would say something just to get the crowd going. You know what I mean?
I got the rants. Who's the more calmer of the two?
She's feisty.
Who's feisty?
You.
No, I just say what's on my mind.
That's feisty.
That's feisty.
That's being feisty.
That's just being honest. But sometimes I really have to bite my tongue.
It's filter. You have your tongue bleeds.
There was one week that I swear to God, I was actually starting to enjoy the taste of my own blood for biting my tongue so much.
You don't rain all over here though, do you? Because it's your show. Just
not really.
No.
I mean, if somebody does something stupid, we might generalize something, but we've never, come right out and said, so and so's a real douchebag.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. We won't do that.
Now, when you're doing your show, because you do all really non-signed artists, pretty much, because of all this BMI stuff and all that other crazy stuff that we have to do
ASCAP
at XLV. Now, do they send you a lot of stuff, or do you go find their stuff? So, say for example, we'll just use Sinister Realm. I know they're not together anymore, but they're from here. But say if they weren't from here, do they say, because your show could be shot off worldwide, do they say, oh, we're playing here in California, here in Kansas, here in Oklahoma, or do you have to go retrieve all that for them?
Like their shows?
Anything, any info,
Most of their info either get from their websites or their social media pages. We tell all the bands, especially the ones that we interview, post whatever you have going on with your band on the Fire and Ice Show page. Because you never know, whoever is on our page that follows us might be in that area and be like, hey, I'm going to go check that band out.
Yeah, and that's good. But what I was saying about the pre-interview thing was back in the day, if I was going to interview, we'll just say I was going to interview the Ramones up at the Music Hall. But before I would even get there would, this was before email, you'd get a phone call and say, okay, what questions do you want to ask? And I would give them, and they'd say, okay, we're going to put that on the list. So I already knew what I was going to ask. And they already knew what was going to be asked as a whole
but
before we waltzed in, and there was no two questions alike.
Right. Well, we've noticed, this is kind of another one of our rants, there are some people who interview bands where it's the same 10 questions every single time.
But that's fine.
It's fine if it's not done, where did you meet? Like a robot type thing. There's basically no interaction. There's yes, no. 1, 2. When we do it, we do our homework on the bands.
Yeah.
And there might be a little quirk or something that we want to hone in on. And we do have a list, a kind of an outline of questions we want to ask. Of course, there's when did you meet, how long have you been together, but there's the staple questions you always got to know. Tell us a little bit about your style, where, who does the writing. That's all the normal stuff. But once, maybe not even 5 minutes into it, you can tell what direction it's going to go in, and that's when we start kind of winging it, so to speak. Like our one interview we did with a band called Drama Queen. Okay. We had the whole band, and I'm telling you, I don't think I've ever had more fun.
Oh yeah, that was the most fun.
That was the most fun ever, and they are well, Rob especially is like a networking whore. That show alone has gotten over 2,100 listens.
I checked the other day. It was 2,473
listens on one show.
Yeah.
That's like unheard of to us, and it's because, and you know what? I feel really good about that. Not just because it was so much fun, and we loved them so much that the more people that listen to it,
Right.
the more their music gets out there.
Well, absolutely.
And that's what it's all about.
And that's on their part too.
Of course, and they did their job.
Right. It's kind of like when we have live bands at XLB. You know, it's you want to have the live band. Sure, you're promoting our wares, but it's really for the band to also promote their wares, to say, hey, we're going to be playing live on the Mad Metal Show on blah 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 blah. You know, you're because we're asking you to come up and play live because you're having something coming up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Down the road. So we're going to be. Now I know it kind of sucks because they sold the FM, the FM number. So it's all back down to internet radio. But when it was live, that was fun. I used to enjoy. It just made things so much different when we built that back studio, and you had to watch your P's and Q's. Like you can't curse, like you guys can curse. You can't curse, or we had the dump button, but if you sometimes the dump button, I'd be going like this, and the damn thing wouldn't go. I'm like, come on, go, and I'd be like, oh man, but it's different. It's the big, and you guys are starting to figure this out now. Is you have your prime questions, right, and then you start talking amongst people, and then that's when other questions
arise,
come in, and the other thing is that these guys are human beings or ladies out there, and maybe they get tired of hearing the same damn thing or being asked the same damn thing, and I'd rather just sit and chill out with somebody than I didn't like those formal sit down, you get 3 questions, you get 3 questions, you get 3 questions. I would rather just like I'll give you an example. I went down to interview Steven Adler a couple of years ago, and he was down in Delaware, and I just went down and we did the interview on the bus, and I thought, this is great, it's just me, so I'm thinking, where in the hell is everybody else? So I come down, and he comes out, he's got a bottle of shampoo and 5 big bottles of water, and he goes, hey, will you do me a favor? I go, what's that? He goes, when I ask you to hand me bottles, would you hand the bottles? And I go, alright. He goes, somebody's using the bathroom, but I need to wash my hair. So he takes a bottle of water outside the bus, right with all the people around. He's just washing his hair, and he's grabbing a bottle. He goes, who are you? I go, I'm Matt Metal. And he looks at me and goes, from the music hall. Bang. Away we go on the bus. So it was him, somebody, I can't remember the name for it, played with Faster Pussycat was in there in his band. Chips Enough was there. And there was somebody else that was back doing a phone thing. And his singer wasn't there. Now he kicked his singer out of the band not too much before that, and some dude, just as I was leaving, is jogging. He comes up, I go, who are you? He goes, oh, I'm the lead singer. And I'm like, oh, let's go back in the bus. So we went back in the bus, but you had their undivided attention. Then the other neat thing was you got to just hang out and see what they do before the show. I mean, we hung out for like 3 hours. Just, I had nowhere to go, I couldn't get in until he went in. Right. The band went in, so I didn't get to see any of the openers. And we just hung out. He had family that lived down there, so they came and hung out. So it was like this, like he's a West Coast guy, but he has East Coast relations, and they came to Delaware to come see him and hang out, and the bus was packed. It wasn't like a big, because he's, it was dry then, but the bus was packed with people, and it was all family, except me. And his other bandos. But you started with the set questions, and then you just kind of bounce things off, because Chips Enough would bring up something, he would bring up something, this guy who played Faster Pussycat would bring up something. You're like, oh yeah, what about right? And
one thing
when we first started doing the band interviews, I always had a list of questions.
Right.
But I think it wasn't really until we did the Sponge interview that we basically just kind of like fed off each other's conversation. I think the interviews go better when you don't have something scripted per se.
Right. Like you can always tie something in. We're always able at some point in some interview because they're all indie bands. Even Sponge said they weren't indie band because they're a DIY band. They're not signed anymore. Yeah. So they're basically an indie band as well.
Right.
We always try to tie in the question of wherever they're at, if they're not in this area, what is your local scene like? And that's really important. And we're finding out that it pretty much sucks, just like ours kind of
Yeah.
thing. They're trying to build, and it's kind of is good for the people around here because they're like, oh, they don't feel like, oh, it's not just us, you
Yeah.
know, that kind of thing. But I've heard so many interviews, and I've heard other DJs say, oh, well, you're not pushing the show and you're not doing this. We tag, every person that we're playing their music
Yeah.
will get tagged. And if we do an interview, they will get tagged. The band will get tagged. Every member of that, will get tagged. And because we really pride ourselves on building relationships with that band that we've interviewed,
Right.
like we are actually Facebook friends with them personally,
Yeah.
not just the band.
Right.
We've built a rapport and a relationship that they will take the time not just to push it for themselves, but to push it for us as well. And that's what we like to do. We like to build a relationship. It's not just, oh, we're going to interview you and then we're going to forget about you and maybe 6 months down the line we'll play your music again. No, it's a constant thing. When we hear that, oh, they've got something going on, hey, we just played them last week or we interviewed them a month ago, check out what they're doing. And they're just like, wow, did you seriously just do that for us? We're like, once you are on our show, and especially once you've been interviewed, it's like you're part of the family. And
Right.
we will keep, that's why we want everybody to be interactive on the page.
Nothing
We want
wrong with
to
that.
keep it going.
Well, let's get some interaction going with the music and
Yes.
continue
Go back
this.
into
What are
the-
we playing?
I'm going to let you introduce the next two bands.
Oh, all right. Oh,
Number
why,
5 and
you
number
can't read
6.
them?
Number 5 and number 6.
Oh, you can read them. My handwriting's not that bad.
Oh, this is Power Theory.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I saw them with Mr. Alex's band.
Yes, you
With
might.
Sinister Realm, doing with Deceiver out of Philadelphia. And you can find them on Facebook or powertheory.net. And then our good friend Mr. Alex's band. You know what? Just his name, I always say Mr. Alex. Since what the hell is that cartoon my kids always watch? The movies. Madagascar.
Oh.
Mr. Alex. So
Mr. Alex.
Sinister Realm with is that Bell Strikes Fear?
Yep.
That you've written down, and they're from the good old Lehigh Valley. Now they're from Lehigh Valley and Florida.
Yeah.
You can find them on Facebook, Reverb Nation, and we want to say a big hi to John Gaffney, who's down in Florida. He's
Yes.
going to be a dad. That's
Aww.
yeah, he's going to be a daddy. I don't know if he's a daddy yet, but he's going to be a dad.
Wow.
And he's got a new gig going on.
Yes, he
I don't know
does.
if you contacted him to get some of his local stuff.
Oh, okay. I'll have
Yeah.
to reach out to him.
Yeah, Alex mentioned he's got a gig going on.
Yeah, he's got a gig going on. He sent me some stuff. It's pretty good.
Good.
Hey,
Cool.
and don't forget, you know what? You guys got to tag your show. And you're listening to the Fire and Ice Show.
That's right.
And we'll be right back.
bell, it tolls for you. The time has come for thee. The fate you thought escaped you has caught up with destiny. Desperately seek redemption, no forgiveness comes your way. So now the demons claw at you to rip your soul away. Fire, smoke, and brimstone, and the stench of demons' breath are the last things you remember as you're drugged down to it. Death! sparks of hope as we point towards the sky. The diamond now runs late, we must pay for our lies. Blood strikes fear in everyone. On and on and on. Blood strikes fear in everyone. On and on and on. Blood strikes fear in everyone. On and on and on. Blood strikes fear in everyone. On and on and on.
And we're back. This is Pitbull,
This is Ninja.
and you're listening to the Fire and Ice Show.
Woo! Yay!
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Or hey, you know,
You can
or-
teach old
or,
dogs
Or hey,
new
that was
tricks.
Sinister Realm on the Fire and Ice show.
Yes,
you know,
it certainly
all
was.
kinds of tags. Oh my God, Jay Steele would be throwing all kinds of crap at you. You didn't say you should see. He sends me little emails. Don't forget to say this, say that, say this.
Oh, while we're thinking about it,
How do we find you?
Find out.
I'm getting ready to go there.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
First, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Damsels of Darkness Tour, DSSmithCreative.com, and
Oh, I'm such an idiot.
You have this stuff written down?
No, it's supposed to be in my head. But
Flashcards.
Flashcards. I need big ass flashcards. Contagion Records. Out of.
.com.
They're out of the UK.
Yes.
Yes, they're out of the UK.
A big
And
time
our
metal.
promotional partner, Ion Indie Magazine, whose October issue just dropped. People, you need to go on our page or go on Ion Indie Magazine's page. Check out the October issue. Unbelievable music. Just great interviews. There's videos. There's, just everything. And let me tell you, they got bands from submitting their music with 5,000
Yeah.
in less than 2 months. Submitting the music. That's a huge undertaking to go through
Oh, I'm sure.
all that music. And now they're opening it up to different, they got opening it up for country a little bit. They want
Woohoo!
an indie country band and everything. And just,
Well, we're going to be playing some country today.
What about some indie polka?
gotta have the polka. I know,
Send me-
look-
Do
Look
you
at your
have-
face. I wish I had a
I
camera.
know,
swear to
her
God.
face,
Her
her
face was just
polka. What?
like
Do you
horror
have,
went
do
all
you
over her
have
face.
polka music?
I don't have any. I just go to see it.
All right, I'm
Look
gonna
at
put
everybody
it out
wondering
there.
what the hell
there
we're
any
talking
polka
about.
bands out there? Anybody know any polka bands that want to get some airplay on the Fire and Ice Show? Please send it to us at fireandiceshow@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And you can find us on Facebook, The Fire and Ice Show. You can find us on Twitter, The Fire and Ice Show. You can also check out our shows at Spreaker.com/Fire and Ice Show, and Fire
Is spelled with a Y.
Right. Now, how did you guys get started with this whole
Oh.
thing?
I'll
That's
tell
funny.
this. It's I was sitting at home one day and I came across a Spreaker app.
Right.
And I was like, what the hell is a Spreaker app? So I started playing around with it, and I did a couple shows just by myself, just playing music, and it was like very awkward for me because I don't like talking to myself.
Why not?
Because
the
I
best
just,
person to talk to.
I don't know. It was
She
really
doesn't like her
awkward.
answers. She
Oh.
just doesn't like them.
No. So I said to Pitbull one day, I was like, just for shits and giggles, let's just do a show one day and see how it goes. And
Right.
we did a show and we posted it and we got a lot of positive feedback and responses from it. And then we started getting emails from all these bands from all over because Jim Jarrell was really pushing the Fire and Ice Show and getting bands to send music to us. And
the more people, the more people that were friends with in bands,
Yeah.
they talk to their buddies and
Right.
other bands, and then they just
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
in
Don't
the
forget that
music.
we're on
Oh,
here, and yeah.
We get music sent to us from all over, and like I'm not on Twitter.
Right.
Ninja went on Twitter, and we've gotten a lot of bands from Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, there's a
A
lot
lot.
of bands on Twitter.
Right, and then
Right.
and stuff like that. And it's just been a really good thing.
And it's really funny because sometimes, like, and see, right now I can't think of what their name is, but there's some pretty big record labels from the West Coast,
Right.
that followed us on Twitter. I think because they saw mutual
Right.
Twitter
Right.
people, whatever, had shared our post or tagged us in a post or whatever. And I started seeing, how many people they had following them and, was reading their tweets and stuff. So I told her this a couple weeks ago, this really big one, and for the life of me, I can't remember who it is. They followed us, and I went onto their profile, and they had like 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
And I'm going through and I'm reading some of their posts. So I immediately went on to our Twitter page, and I was like, "Have you gotten
keep tagging them?
Have you gotten our music? Have you gotten your music to us? Would you like to be showcased? Would you like an interview?" I forget how I worded it, and like immediately I had like 4 bands that sent me messages, and the A&R company that had just followed us sent me a message, and she was like, "Hey, I've got some bands that I want to send you." I'm like, "Yeah, send it over."
Because that's the way this whole world is going anymore.
That's how it works.
The days of...
But I hate Twitter. I hate it.
Why? It's awesome.
I mean,
Twitter's so much better than Facebook anymore. The only thing I don't like is having conversations on Twitter. But Twitter's good to bam, you're done.
Instant bam.
You're done.
Constantly.
I'm just, I just haven't gotten the whole feel for the tweet thing. I mean, most of the time, the only time I go in there and post anything is like, if we have a big show coming up, I post a link for the show every time we do a show.
Also, hey, cleaning my house, jamming the so-and-so. If it's one of the bands, that's it. Do boom boom. You know what? I just got iced tea out of the fridge. We're listening to this.
And I hate when people do that on Facebook. It's like, oh, I'm in the bathroom taking a dump and I ran out of toilet paper. It's like,
but I'm listening to Sinister Realm.
Right. But you don't have to get
that. Sorry, Alex, it just came out to that bad.
But I'm just saying, you could, with the Twitter thing, then you just boom. And then if you find anything interesting, like I'm all over this food porn thing. Because I love food. So I find all these recipes, and they're part of the food porn group. So to save them, you retweet them, and then they show up on your page. Right. And then you can just scroll down and do with that. And I've had some now, like I just tagged Overkill in a show last night, because I thought they did it 30 years they've been playing, Yeah. And so I tag them, and they're following me today, It's just, that's what I mean. To have the power of what I have now.
What is your Twitter handle?
Matt Metal at 28.
Okay.
I could just get Matt Metal. Somebody
took it.
Somebody had it already.
What the heck?
Who the freak is that?
Who the hell is that?
I don't know.
We need to go get them.
Yeah, take them out, damn it. Bastards.
Bite them.
Yes. So now what? What else would you like to ask me?
I have a couple questions I want to ask you, but I want to get some more music in.
All right.
And then we'll
go.
Because I have an opinion question for you when we come back. I'll let you let me introduce these.
No, I want to introduce.
You want to introduce them?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Oh, it's number 7 and 8.
7 and 8. Ooh, are there chicks? Are these chick rockers?
They're country.
Rock.
Country.
They're country.
Right. So are they? Is it because the circle? Is it Two Steel Girls with Trainwreck out of Nashville, Tennessee? And you can follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and www.twosteelgirls.com. And then you have Schmatea Theory.
No. Number 8.
8. Whoa, sorry. 8 is... Where the hell is 8? Oh, all the way down here. Bill Jasper Acoustics with Earthshaking Blues out of one of my favorite cities in this country, Pittsburgh, PA.
Hey, born there. Hello.
I don't even want to hear about your Steelers. One of my favorite cities ever is Pittsburgh, PA. And you can find them on SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, Facebook, and Twitter. And you have developed rare hearing disorder, but who's that? Oh, Bill Jasper?
Yeah, he developed a rare hearing disorder, and he had to stop playing. And he had surgery done that enabled him to hear again.
Oh, wonderful.
So now he started playing again.
That's awesome.
That is very cool.
That's awesome. Woo! And you're tuned to the Fire Night Show.
Be right back.
track, standing there looking like that, blowing that smoke up my ass. I should have been no, baby, I gotta go. Should have packed it up, took it home. I hear you coming, took a look and hauling at me like a train wreck. I ought to stop you, but I can't keep from loving me a train wreck. I bet you're gonna hurt me, babe, but my heart says I think I can make it through a train wreck.
Then he heard start to quake it, and my feet started shaking with you.
And we are back with our special guest, Matt Metal, on the Fire and Ice Show.
Woo!
Woo! Yay! I'm getting good at this.
Yes, good job. So coming over here was worth it. Besides the iced tea and good
That's
company.
right. I bought him iced tea.
Yes.
Yes. And we all had wieners for dinner.
Yes, but I didn't have the same wieners they had.
Our wieners were
They
better.
had special wieners.
That's right.
I just had hot dogs. I don't know what was going on here before I got here. That's all I know. They were all revved up and ready to go.
We had wieners with the fixins.
Yes. Special sauce wieners.
That's right.
Yes, special sauce.
There you
Special
go.
sauce. Ancient Chinese secret.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Yeah, okay.
Hell,
Is it okay to say?
I don't even want to know what I was eating.
Okay, notice I haven't sat on the sofas at all.
That's okay. We didn't eat on the sofas. It's so good.
That's not what I was thinking.
So what do you think of the music so far?
I like it. You know, I've pretty much cut my teeth on what you're doing. You know, back then we decided years ago when I was originally on XLV, and this was before I started doing the metal show, was that we were going to dictate and take care of our own people. We had a big meeting, and we were ballsy, and we're like, we're going to do what Z95 is not doing, and then we're going to promote it. That we're going to do what Z95 is not doing. And Z95 back then was really, I thought, they suck now. I'll be the first one to tell you, they suck. And their DJs can't like being at work because they're being dictated what they have to do. But back then, you know, we were talking on the way home last night, remember like back in the day when the Scorpions would play? And then they would
do
play
after the concert. They
Journey,
do
whatever. They play all this stuff in a row. So if you couldn't be there,
it was the next best thing.
Next best thing.
thing.
And they took care of people in the valley, but they started not taking care of the little guy. And we thought, let's do something different that LVR is not doing, that MUH isn't doing. We're going to keep all our shows, but we're going to go take care of the little guy. Now, I know my friend Sean, he had a Grateful Dead show, and that was just all Grateful Dead, and he toured in the summer and used to do that tape swap thing, and then would come back in the fall to come back to school, and then that was pretty neat, you know. But that's what we decided to do. So when we did the metal thing, that's, you know, Angie was the one that introduced me, like Tony DeLeo, Mike Troxel, and that's when we started bringing all of them up to the radio show. Kamikaze had people, I had people. Then when he retired, I kept the ball rolling, and we really having the Airport Music Hall, the Green Pine Inn, DJ Bananas, Cafe La Rock, all those places. With there was something going on all the time, every night.
I tell her about it. She's just like, oh my god.
And I used to walk around that little, like we have phones, that little handheld tape recorder, you know, and blah blah. Like I'd be like, hey guys, can you make me a spot for the radio show? Bang, and they'd say, oh, you know, like this is Fire and Ice. You're tuned to the Matt Metal Show. Boom, I go up, I put it on the cart, I'm ready to go, you know, and go from there. But it was just that was the key that made XLV. So what you're doing is pretty much the same thing. Is you're taking care of the little guy, and I give you guys a lot of respect for that, and not jumping on the big boy bandwagon.
Oh yeah, I'd rather do this. I mean, I have 2 iPods. I have one iPod that's just all the songs I grew up with, all mainstream stuff. But I have another iPod that's all indie music. And I have never, the amount of talent that is out there that is untapped because it's all DIY, and, you know, depending on where they're at, they don't have really a way to really get the music out there.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do, and other people like us are trying to do. The talent is unbelievable. It's amazing, some of the bands that we've come across. I mean, there are, I like just about, I mean, you can't like everything.
No, and I agree.
You know, I mean, there's certain, and I hate putting things in genres, but there's certain types of songs or music that I won't like. That does not mean that we will not promote it, support it, play it, blah, blah, blah.
See, that's why I was different.
Right. There's just personal things that I might not like. But, like, I try to support everything.
Right.
But I do have my quote-unquote favorites
Yeah, and I get
that
that.
we play.
And you can't help that.
But
to be
you know,
honest
it's
with
funny. The one favorite that I do have is Drama Queen, and there's a reason. They invoke in me the feeling I had listening to the 80s hair band metal when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
That feeling that I got, the goosebumps that I got when my favorite song would come on the radio and go, oh my God, they're playing the Scorpions or they're playing Poison. That they invoke that feeling in me, and that's why. Besides the fact that I love their music,
instilling that in you.
Yeah, that's why I love them so much.
But
you know,
but I get. You know, like I said, I give you guys a lot of respect for doing it because this is not easy to do. Is to take. Now I just used an area because that's all I was. You're using an area that's, everywhere. You know what I mean? And the other thing, like you said about playing everything, I couldn't do that. There's still part of me that if I don't like it, I still have to listen to it. And you can, with today, you can re-record something. You know what? I don't like it. Let's cut it out. Let's put this in. Back, that was live radio. So if I had 4 hours of radio show and I don't like it, I'm not playing it. And it's not like it's not good to you. It wasn't coming on my radio show, and it was just not going to happen. And I had people get all pissed off and yell at me, and I'm like, see, you just made it worse. Or like people would send in cassette tapes back in the day, and the tape wouldn't record right, and it would sound like whoop, 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 whoop. I'm like, oh shit, the tape player's breaking, and I'm like, oh, you know what? It's not breaking. It's just a bad tape. So I wouldn't play it, or I would say, please pre-listen to what you're going to send me, because you're not going to make me look like an ass. I could do that all by myself.
Exactly.
I could put my foot in my mouth. I could do all that stuff all by myself. Don't let you add to it.
Right.
Make sure you're not going to sound like an idiot to make me sound like an idiot. I could be an idiot for 4 freaking hours if I wanted to, and just send it up. And people get pissed.
Well, there have been a couple of times when
there's been stuff
artists
that
have sent us their MP3s or what have you, and they're just horrible recordings, and we just will not play it.
There's
what I mean?
also been one or two.
But have you ever been just brutally honest and just said, listen, we understand we're a podcast, but we still have to we have our own set standard, and the recording of this is bad. Redo it. That's being honest. And of course bands get pissed because they have a lot of pride in what they do, but you know what? If they're musicians, they will take a step back and go, oh, you know what? These two are right. They're not just a bunch of pain-in-the-ass women, and we need to go redo this again. Hence why, we'll just use the apes. I was on the radio 2 weeks ago at XLV, and I asked for the pre-issue of Ape Diablo. They wouldn't give it to me. That's one of the first times that Jody's never given me something that I asked for.
I asked for one of the songs too, and he,
not ready.
No,
it wasn't ready. Now it's ready.
There is one or two artists that we decided we weren't going to play based on the recording.
Right.
More than once. Based on the recording and the fact that technically it was just bad. It was bad. It was flat out bad. I mean, and if that person would ask us,
hey,
a while back I gave you this recording or whatever, and I never ever heard you play it, and why didn't you play it? Seriously, I would be like, dude, have you really listened to it? I mean, are other people just placating you just to shut you up?
There are a lot of people like that.
Or, because I will never outright bash anybody, but if you ask me what I think, I can objectively give you an opinion. Subjectively, based on person, know, but I can also objectively, more importantly, give you an opinion on what I think of that. I won't lie to you just so I won't
Don't
make you feel
ask
bad.
if you're not ready for the wrong answer. That's the big key.
Because I can be brutally honest, and some, there's some people that don't want to hear that. If you don't want to hear it, don't ask me.
Right. That's true. So is that good? Good answer for you?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, more music?
No, another question.
What?
Oh, you want another question?
Yeah.
All right. Here's a question for you.
Go ahead.
The local music scene now.
Oh, boy.
Now, I know what it used to be 20, 30 years ago. I've heard,
I might have to, abstain from this one.
I've heard, all the stories of what the music scene used to be like.
Right.
And I still really wish that I had been around, then.
Yes.
But the music scene now. Do you feel it is improving? Is it stagnant? Is it getting worse?
Now, this is...
And this is like with the venues as well.
Okay, all right. So, I'm going to answer it this way, because this is how I honestly feel. My music scene, your music scene, and your music scene, and everybody else that listens is completely different. Because we all like different things. We like to do the same thing, but sometimes your expectations are going out mine. They're all going to be different. So, for me, I think that over time, and I think this was just uncontrollable, not on the band's part, but on more club owners, because, you know what, they have a business to run. So I get a lot of this stuff. You know, I run a business for somebody, so I get, you're opening a door to make money. You're not opening a door to make friends, you're opening a door to make money. So they're looking for their best bang for their buck if they're paying somebody to play, to bring in people, to buy beer. You know, that's their big money maker.
That's the big thing, it's the alcohol.
Buy beer, buy food, do whatever. I get all that. Would I love to see more local music venues around here? I don't know if it can even be supported, if that makes sense. I think with all the internet stuff nowadays, I'm not, and plus I'm going to be 50, so I'm 30 years removed of being that, let's go see 5 shows in a night, or let's go Friday and not come home till Sunday because we started here in the Lehigh Valley. We ended up in Philadelphia. Then we're in New York City, and then maybe we stopped in Ball. You know, we were somewhere. You know, or you ended up at the Trocadero every Sunday night because there was a metal show every stinking Sunday night at the Trocadero. It was just the way it was. So those days for me are different. Now the younger generation, I think their whole way of doing everything is different. They're not the belly uppers, and that's what I mean. Like, they're not going out to all different places with little cards and putting cards out, putting stickers and putting their banners on the wall. They have a whole different way of putting themselves out there. So I think the lost art of certain promotion is different. But back to your question, I think the music scene here in the Lehigh Valley has a lot of different heartbeats. We had a couple heartbeats years ago. Now I think there's so many different heartbeats that it seems like it's stagnant, but it's not. If you want to find something to do, you could read your blog. You could read. Why can't I think of the guy in the morning call? John Moser writes stuff, and he does a little bit more nationally than what you write. You know, you can find stuff to do. I mean, I there's times I just get bombarded with event invites, and I'm like, all right, let's see. I don't have my kids this weekend. Click Facebook, 9 events. You know, I already know what I'm doing this weekend. It's predestined, you know, but will I go after? I don't know, you know, maybe. But I can't make everything like I used to, going to 3 shows in a night. And that was only a couple of years ago. I was starting off at A and going to B and starting with people like, how do you do it? Well, unfortunately, I got to pay my $5 to go in now, where I didn't have to do that before. That's what I think. I think you have, everything is just kind of cut in little sections right now. I mean, you know what one of my favorite things used to be to do, and I don't know if you've ever done this, on a Friday night over at Arts Quest, there's free live music at Arts Quest. It might not be metal, but I'll tell you what, some of that music is goddamn good. And it's
every Friday?
Every Friday. And it's packed. Sitting out there on the lawn on a nice night. I would get off the air at 9 o'clock up at XLV. I'd be packed up by 9:05. The next guy would be on the air, and I would hustle my rear end down 309, go out 22, and maybe I'd catch like the last 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. The place would just be mine, free. You know, you have all these different avenues to look at different music. You have Godfrey Daniels, you have the Funhouse, you have all that stuff going on at Arts Quest. You know, you have this Chicago now, you know, where they opened up. Sure, we have nothing in really. I live in Whitehall. You know, nothing really in Whitehall, but little by little, you know, Live is going to come in and open up a new venue in Allentown. You have the big arena, which is going to make smaller little places. You know, it's just depending what you're looking for. I mean, I love going to see acoustic stuff now. So Thursday night, every third Thursday of the month, I try to get to the Paddock to see Stephen McDaniel. So I think the music, it's completely different than what it was. You know, back then, you had the Aquarium magazine, you had the East Coast Rocker, everything, everybody's club from here, there, New York, Baltimore, whatever. Am I right? Was all
crazy.
in there.
Well, I moved here in 2005. That was 9 years ago. Yes, I know
Right.
how to add and subtract.
Yeah.
Good.
I remember when I first moved here, opening up the morning call
Right.
and seeing all the ads for the different clubs and bars in the area and what bands were playing.
Right.
And that just stopped.
Well, it stopped because, remember, the morning call was bought out. So they're
Yeah.
not owned by a local paper anymore. It's just like we were saying about Z95. And I think they're stale. And I think a lot of media has become stale, which unfortunately then reflects downhill. And it's good that you do your gig, Sam does his thing, because it's somebody on the local front is doing their part, and the more big business buys in, they don't care about us. No, it's not just us. It's here, there, everywhere. You think about, I'll give you an example, Nikki Sixx's radio show. How many cities do you think go to that? 50, 100, because of who they're owned by. They just get paid to talk. And then they do what I do on iRock Radio. They talk and somebody else is plugging the music in. They have a music log. They know what's coming, and they might say, oh, yeah, and now coming up is either, blah, 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 or, Bush, the chemical between us, and, and go from there. And that's it. There's no more local guy to put their finger on everything. And I think maybe that's hurt what you're talking about. But if you want to do something, there's stuff going on all over the place. You have to do a little homework now to get it. Where it used to be thrown in your face all the time. Now you gotta do the work, because the big production people, or that's probably the wrong word, but like your publications aren't there to do it for you anymore. I mean, the Go Guide is good. But you got to make sure you submit your stuff for the Go Guide.
Yeah.
Right. And then I've noticed over the years, it's gone, like every other one is DJ. It's just like it's gone from live bands to DJs.
Right, and karaoke is big now, but what does that do? It brings out the person that wants to go out and sing. They just go out, they have a couple drinks, they get up, they sing. Guess what they're going to do? They have a good time doing it. They're going to buy some more beer, buy some more whatever. And you go to a log cabin on a Friday night with Kevin and them and Crazy K, it's packed, and they do a great job with their karaoke, but the people love going up there and singing, and I'm sure the log cabin is loving life, that they're in there doing their thing. They're making money. There's other ways that you don't need a band to play. Now, on the back end, the bands are always like, we have no place to play, we have no place to play, we have no place to play. And I know the venue thing is becoming tough where you can't even put your own show together, but you figured out how to put your shows together. This is the thing. I'm not in a band, and I figured out how to goddamn put We Rocks together, and I don't even know how to play a note. I don't know how to talk on a microphone. I don't know how to play a note. If I could figure it out, and Amy could figure it out, why can't other people figure it out? You weren't here, but back in the day, you'd be at the Italian club, the Genota.
Oh my God!
Going to see, Nasty, or Vicious Brecca,
you
or
could see 3-4 bands.
The Arch Street Hotel,
night.
West Caddy Playground. There I am, stuck against the back wall, watching the Dead Kennedys play.
Oh, yeah.
And I slammed myself to the back wall. I was not getting involved in that mess up front. Not me, man. I like my teeth.
It
But the
was
point
crazy.
is,
But all those people that did that, like you said, I never looked at it like that. We're all older now. We who lived it when it was in their heyday. We're all older now, and the kids now or the age now that we were then, they grew up with. They don't know what a record is. They don't know what a tape is. They grew up on the internet. They grew up with technology.
Download your music and shoot it all over the place.
I never looked at it like that before. Do you know what I mean? I never looked at it like that. I mean, I get it because of my kids. Yeah. But I never thought, oh my God, these 17, 18, all the way up to 25-year-olds, when I was that age, that's what we were doing, like what Matt was saying. But they're different. They have a completely different. The world is different for them. I never looked at it like that.
If we weren't going to the music hall, or we weren't going to the Green Pine Inn, or we weren't going to Cafe La Rock or DJ Bananas, or we weren't going to Zodiac Club,
love that place.
Absolutely, or Stars. If we weren't going, or the pub,
DJ's Pub.
If we weren't going there, we were going because Nasty put 3 local bands together, and they're playing at the Italian Club.
Yep.
$5 to walk in, $1 freaking beers.
And then every so often you decided to head down to Hammerjacks.
Yeah.
You know, or you decided to head out of town, like you going to Baltimore or going to Philly or something, or see some, some other place. But God.
Yeah, but that's Tracy, like when about the scene, when we say there was always something to do every night. The bands made this scene. They put some work in. Punk Rock's at the Arch Street Hotel in Caddy. You ever at the Arch Street Hotel? Mm-hmm. It's tiny. But they put it together and they found a place to go. They go to the Caddy Club. They find these little venues. So you put the secret something space in Bethlehem. It's like I asked them one day where it is. I drove by it 4 times till somebody came out and waved to me and told me where to park. And there was only like 20 people there, but so what? They were having fun. Or there's the Bernard's Club in Bethlehem. That had punk shows. Sometimes to create something, you can't stand there and say the scene sucks. You know what? Then you're part of the problem if you stand there and say the scene sucks. What are you going to do to make it better? What are you going to do positive to put your best foot forward to make it better? If I have a band and I'm 18 years old and I might not sound terrific, but you know what? I have a band and we have 10 songs that we want to play out. I'm going to figure out how to latch that 10 songs somehow, and we're going to practice them, and I don't care how shitty we sound, we're going to practice them to the best we can, and I'm going to see, hey, maybe there's some other band from high school. What about the Battle of the Bands that used to go on? I remember Alan and...
We used to have the greatest Battle of the Bands.
Battle of Bands. I don't even know if they do that stuff anymore.
No, they don't.
But if you get 30 people to show up, okay, you have 30 people to show up. If it was a positive experience, they will talk about it. It'll take some time. They'll talk about it. If it sucks, boom, the word's out all over the place. So I think what needs to be done here in the Valley, and sometimes I feel like I'm on my soapbox, but I've been around long enough to stand on that soapbox. And I think the big thing is people need to get off the back of the scene sucks. Because it doesn't suck. It sucks because you're allowing it to suck. If you don't allow it to suck, it's not going to suck. And sometimes there's something else, even though I'm at metal, there's something else besides metal. Go out and see somebody else. You might see somebody else and go, holy crap, that's a great hook. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to grab that and just borrow that, and say, steal it. All right, bro, I'll put that in my next tune. But if you're not willing to take the step forward, and this goes out to all local bands. I don't care if it's here in the Lehigh Valley, wherever you are in the world. You're not willing to take that step forward and try to make your way, don't bitch. Don't do it. Especially not to me, because you're going to get the wrong answer from me. And like I said before, I had a couple other bands ask me almost the same question. I gave them my answer, and they're like, well, who the hell are you? I'm like, I'm 30 freaking years promoting your shit before you're even somebody's stars in their eyes. Stop.
Yep.
Stop. I earned my stripes. I'm not going to play in the band, but I earned my stripes.
Yeah, and those bands, man, we used to go to a show and come out, and there were 4 or 5 flyers on our cars.
Yes.
Because other bands were there, or they came after their show, and they spent the time making these flyers where they couldn't go on the internet and do it. They had to cut and paste and make copies and, colorize it themselves.
Yep.
And they went to every damn club
Yep.
in Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton, with hundreds and thousands of flyers and stuck them on every freaking car and every
handing them out all over.
Nowadays, people are bitching that they have to press a button on the internet to get their event out. It's like...
Oh my God, I had to make an event invite on
Oh
Facebook.
God, yeah. Well, try spending 5 hours walking through parking lots putting damn flyers on cars.
Yeah.
That's a bitch.
Well, I had a conversation with Eddie Cooley, the guitar player with Nuff Said.
Okay.
And he was like, there has to be other ways to get it out there when we have a show. Because Nuff Said was on hiatus for a while because they were in between band members and what have you. And I told him, I said, you can still go on to local radio stations. They have those community calendars. You can post stuff on there for free. Sure. 69 News has a community calendar.
Yeah.
You can go on there and you can post your events for free. I was like, and you know what, Eddie? I said, this may sound very strange. I was like, but when we interviewed Drama Queen, one of the things they did is they put an ad in Craigslist there in Illinois to get people to listen to the show. And I was like, post an ad on Craigslist.
Yeah. Why not?
I was like, that's pretty ingenious. Like, who the hell would think to go on Craigslist and post about, their interview on a radio show? But it worked.
Yeah.
Because 2,400 people have listened to that show. And people listen.
They have
still
found
almost
ways.
2 months later. The
And if
numbers
you-
are still going up.
And being part of the little guy, because like I said, I was never part of the big stream, but being part of the little guy, there's still a boatload of little guys, and I'll just use here, even though they're not having FM signal anymore, there's still XLV up in Schnecksville, there's still LVR at Lehigh, there's still MUH here,
Pittsburgh, yeah.
there's still all the little radio stations in Philadelphia, there's still the King, WSOU down at Seton Hall University. If you want your stuff out there, start looking where you're put a pin out and say, you know what, if we want to play out, right, we want to play out live, where do we go in a circle that we feel comfortable playing out? Might have to play for $50 or whatever, but where do we feel going? Look at all the little avenues in there that are free, whatever, that you could go promote your wares, blah, 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 and do whatever. There's a local band that's out there that I will keep nameless, that we do not see eye to eye, because they look at me like, who the hell are you? And I look at you like, who the hell are that you? But the point is, I think that band is missing their mark, and I've seen them do other things, and I thought they were phenomenal. Metal band, nah, that's all right. But the thing is, don't bitch about something if you're not going to help, whatever. And not just yourself. If other people are out there helping you to help yourself, you give the fuck back.
Exactly.
You give back. You don't just sit there and stick your nose in there, because who the hell are you to do that? Mm-hmm. If there's some other guy going, you give back. You help the guy to the right, you help the guy to the left. You're all in it together. You know what I mean? I'll give you another example of helping out, whatever. Now, because of a lot of phone work and things of that nature, and she knows, and from Tom McCool and Pat and Sam, those three guys helped me rise above everybody else. I'm just me, but with the help of them and getting my face out in front of people and saying about XLV and the Matt Metal Show and blah, 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 that was the show to listen to on a Friday night. I wasn't going to break my arm, but I'm being just realistic.
It was.
Arbitrage ratings, we were right there. Against the big boy, right there. National magazines, not trade magazines for that damn radio show on a Friday night. But I became friends with the guys from Muhlenberg, hung out with them. They did Thursday night show at Muhlenberg, Metal Mike and Mosh Master Mike. I became friends with them. So if I could get tickets to something and they couldn't, I would get them on my ticket list and take them out and introduce them and say, hey, these guys got a great metal show on a Thursday night. Blah, shit. Listen, get your stuff to them. Or once a month, once every other month, they would have me come up. And I'd go at like 9 and do till 11 because I'd cross shows, or they'd come hang with me on a Friday night. Lehigh wasn't so receptive. But as a metal radio community, we started to stick together, and promote each other's shit, because where else were you going to find it? You weren't here on Z95 or Hot 99, the dance station, or 96.1 or whatever, and we started to get along, and that's how we pushed ourselves. Or I would go up on stage and I'd take Mike with me, say, come here, let's...
What's the whole thing? I mean, other people who are doing podcasts and, have indie stations and indie podcasts, we're all doing the same damn thing.
Right, we're all doing the same thing.
I don't understand where this competition's coming from, and I don't understand why, I'm on more stations than you are, so I'm better than you. Wait a minute, we're all... If you're in it to promote these bands and help them get where they need to go,
that's right.
There should be no competition.
Right.
There shouldn't be a me.
No,
it should be them.
That's why we're doing it. I'm not doing this so people know who I am. Now, you can ask her. We would go out somewhere and total strangers would come up to me and know who I am. And in the beginning, it freaked me out. I mean, to the point where I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, you know what? Use that to promote the show, to promote the bands.
Right.
Bypass them knowing you and turn it into them knowing the show,
right,
and knowing the bands. And then I'm more comfortable with that.
You know what I think would be more now, like I said, with having kids now, I've kind of scaled back going out and doing what I'm doing. But one thing that used to be big back then, and I don't know, maybe I just don't see it because I'm not out in that younger generation, but I don't see a lot of anymore of, hey, Tracy's out there. Come sing. Tracy's in Iron Bottom Sound. I know it's Tony's band, old band. Come up and sing a song. But you're going up there. We're playing in a band. You're in a totally different band. Hey, don't forget, check them out.
It does happen.
See, as much as they used to be like, we want to be better than you. They still used to do all that, and I like that. And I mean, some didn't. Okay, I get that. But, we used to have, they used to have the Just Do Me bashes.
Oh my
Local
God,
band.
I told you about this.
We had our own thing at Coons Grove
Yep.
that oh my God, it was just a hot mess.
was
But it was
just- yeah,
sure
it
a
was a
lot of
hot
fun,
mess.
though, but it was a hot mess.
I mean, those beer trucks. And
Yeah, the beer trucks. They're shaking the beer trucks. The poor guy's in there trying to get the new taps on.
Just Do Me was the first one. Just Do Me 2 was the second.
Yep.
Just Do Me Again was the third one.
Yep.
And, wow. I don't even...
One of those I passed out in the field.
yeah, I was just I don't even remember the
Well,
whole thing.
Yes.
let's pause on the Just Do Me. Just Do Me. And how about you just name the next two bands?
Yes.
Where are we at?
Right there.
The next two.
You never thought this was going to be this long, did you?
It's usually 2 hours.
Yeah,
All right.
it's about that. First band you're going to hear next is Heaven's Basement with Be Somebody, and they're out of England. They're on Facebook, SoundCloud, and heavensbasement.com. And then, woohoo! And then one of my favorites up after that is Widow with Lady Twilight, and they're out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Find them on Twitter and widowusa.com and Reverb Nation. We are the Fire and Ice Show featuring Matt Metal tonight, and we will be right back.
Same old avenue.
Almost caught you talking.
Woo! We were talking.
This is the Fire and Ice Show.
Whee!
I'm Ninja.
I'm Pitbull.
I'm that metal.
Alright, so
Yes.
back to the Just Do Me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We're just
Well,
discussing it.
I guess what we were talking about there. There's one of the thought processes of what we were doing was now you guys do, like, you did the benefit show for up in Slayton. I do the We Rock events. You know, it's to do something. What the Just Do Me Bash was, I think that was Paul Tapetti's idea, who runs the band Poker Face and is still doing Poker Face. Was had these, you know, let's get 5 or 4 bands together. Let's charge $10 a head. You had, I think it was Greg Pineda was cooking, and you had all kinds of booze up there going on.
Truck.
And yeah, and it was just fun. I know when I ran a thing with Terry Jimenez, and we did it over at the Grove out there, right off of in Coonsville, and we had a couple like with the Mob and Destroyer and you know Washed and stuff like that. Sure, you know, we charged money to get in, and we took care of the bands, but you know, you got local bands. But see, that was us being outside. But when the bands are doing it together, that's when it's fun. Like, you're starting to see now, you see like the Cherry Bombs just played with Social Call. The Cherry Bombs are going to play with Sinister, Jimmy Supra. Now there's 2 total things going on, you know, but they got respect for each other, so they're going to put a double show together. You're seeing local bands. You see Jimmy Supra and Sarah playing together. You know, you're seeing all kinds of different things. You know, you put that together. You know, it's, are you in it for the money, or are you in it to promote your wares, to make a little money here, but then you're going to pick up shows here, there. You know, what you got to ask yourself: what are you in it for? You in it for the money? You in it because you love use it.
Well, one of my favorite things is that you said you didn't really see it much, but we do see it. Not rampant like we used to, but when a band doesn't have a show, the musicians try, we know some who try to get out to other shows, and I have seen, so-and-so from this band's here, and they'll come up and do a song.
Mm-hmm.
Or, my best friend, we call him Hellraiser on the show, but he's done sound, lots of times, and many bands...
he's at Jabbers.
Yeah, many bands have asked him, hey, come up and do a song with us.
Yeah.
And sure, he'll do it. And other people that are out in the audience, hey, come up and do a song with us, or here's a guitar. Do a couple riffs with it. And I've seen that, and that, to me, is so important.
Yes.
Because it shows the people who are going out that this is a strong community, musical community, and everybody has respect for each other. Just because they do this different music, or they might not even, play shows together, they can actually go out there and be on the same stage and have a good time, and people feed off of that, that energy. And I love seeing that.
I think, and back to the venue thing, Tracy, I think as much of a shithole place it was in, I think that the Sterling Hotel going down hurt. Yeah. I think it hurt bigger than Croc Rock, because Croc Rock wasn't. I didn't like how. Once again, he's a businessman. He has his own opinion. I didn't like how he made local bands pay, sell your tickets, whatever. You know what? That's not the way he used to do it. And that's a whole different area of the country that does it that way. You can't. It doesn't support itself here. And to say, you're going to go on third because you sold 52 tickets, you're going to go on second because you only sold 51. I don't agree with that. I was never a fan of that. The thing that the Sterling had was that they had those two stages. They could bop from one to the other, and they had Adrenaline Friday. Yeah. And Adrenaline Friday was all local music, and they'd play on a Friday. And I know the boys in New World Disorder would play, and because their age group, because of being younger, they would always put them in like 9:30 because you had to watch with your license to go drive home. But they would pack people in. And the neat thing was they would put, Skip or whomever was doing the show would bring some out-of-towners, and he kind of did the same thing, all right, whatever. But if you could get on before New World Disorder, you had a nice crowd, floating right there. And then Ovlo, they would play last, and they wanted to play last. And, the whole crowd would kind of tide, would just ebb and flow, would come in, kind of come out, and then I kind of felt bad for a couple bands in the middle because you could see, like, the kid, the New World Disorder people would leave, and sometimes I would leave because we'd just go back to have the big parties with the parents, But, once in a while I would stay with Ovlo, and you would just see a whole different crowd start crawling back in at, like, midnight, and the place would be freaking packed. But you don't have that double-stage venue, and like I said, it was scary, not the greatest part of town down there, but that, I think, hurt rock, not just metal, but rock music, original rock music as a whole, that completely changed. And that I think that was a big fish. I'm not so sold that Croc Rock, closing down made it, because we can still drive to the Starland and here and there. We can. People don't mind driving to Philly or whatever to see a good show. Was it great having them in our backyard?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But to get there, really, I had my own issues. I stopped going, and but like I would have rather have like driven down to Reverb to go see Clutch than see him in my own backyard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just that's a personal thing to me. But I think that one venue, and I could be completely wrong, and people could disagree, but that one venue closing down, that I think hurt the local bands, the bands that are out there trying to do it a certain way and not play all covers. There's older bands playing covers because they're doing it for fun. They're making some money. They're doing it for fun. It's not their day job. They're doing it whatever. And there's bands out there playing originals, doing it for fun. They got their day jobs, whatever. But I think like I would, there you knew when you walked in the damn door you were going to get 6 bands that were trying their freaking hardest, to do their thing. I mean, and they brought in some neat. Skip brought in as much as I like Skip. And some people don't, some people do. The guy's never done me wrong. That's the way I look at it. And sometimes he called me, go, Matt, you got to check this band out. I'm like, all right, and I come strolling in, and I just walked in the door, and I get there about when he wanted me to get there, and I'd probably see the opener. But I saw this one band, Healy. Now, I love them. You know, I don't know if you ever found them, but find them, Healy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another band one night. It was called the F-Bombers. This chick could sing. She was freaking awesome. Or Pool of Thorns. You know, another.
Yeah,
you know,
Domino.
seeing them all there, seeing them at the Fun House. You know, once again, another place to see a lot of local original music. But if you could have took the Sterling and either moved it out of there and put it somewhere else that could be a little bit, you know, you felt a little safer, or if they could have cleaned that area up a little better and that Sterling didn't die, I think that was a big negative. That's just my opinion. People tell me I'm
Is
crap.
the Sterling open at all now?
Yeah, but it's no.
It's open.
It's all.
It's more caters to the demographics of the area.
Yes.
Let's just,
No, I just didn't know if it was
yeah,
even open.
it caters to the demographics of that
Right.
particular area. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
you'll never see a rockers down there anymore.
I don't think you'll see a rock show down
Ever.
there ever again.
Ever again.
I'm really looking forward to, and people look at me like I'm nuts, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Live's going to do with this.
Yes.
Me too.
I mean, you're really not getting any bites on what they're going to build.
Nope.
Except it's going to kind of be like a House of Blues. Well, I've
Yeah.
been in House of Blues before. I thought it was pretty neat. But what's kind of like a House of Blues?
Yeah, they're not telling us. They said
That's
it's kind of like a House of Blues, but not blues, more like a rock. And they keep going back and forth,
Right.
and nobody knows what the hell they're talking about.
You know, and then the Sands built this thing, which personally I like to go to the Sands. It's just some shows I got to pick and choose my shows because they get too costly. You know, now Chevelle was just awesome. You know, but see there, once again you're a major marketplace. You're not getting a lot of local bands to open on tour. You know, at that venue, like when you have the music hall, or like the first time I saw Guns N' Roses with the EZO. Guns N' Roses was the opener. EZO was the national band. You don't even probably know who EZO is, right? Okay, see, but you gotta know who Guns N' Roses are, right? But that was the flip flop. You know, now EZO was from Japan, found by Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons was running that band, and that's who we all went to see that night. You know, and Guns was like 2 to 3 weeks before Appetite for Destruction or whatever.
Nobody really.
No, they
knew who they were.
Brought the house down, but nobody really knew who they were. And but you don't. You're not going to get that with the Sands. And I've read people's rants and whatever. You know what? Stop. Just stop picking at things that you're never going to change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the way the Sands don't do business. They're part of a casino. They're not there for the little guy.
Right.
You know, and if you're going to bitch at Arts Quest, which I've just read that one of the local bands again started bitching at Arts Quest, you know what? Try a different tactic, try a different approach. Stop saying, well, I'm so-and-so. So what? So what? Just think of the thousands and thousands of bands from all over that they get to choose from to put in there.
That are saying, well, I'm so-and-so.
Right, but or just that they could pick from.
There's like we were just saying, there's so much talent out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so many times I'm like, what the heck? I've never heard this band before.
Yeah.
And then, part of me's
Our
like, wait a
lovely
minute.
Train.
Yeah, lovely. Part of me's like, wait a minute, what's putting your money where your mouth is? What did you just say on the show? Sometimes going out to see a band you've never seen before is the start of something really awesome because you're like, wow, they're really good. And then that's just, you might not have seen them before, but, it happens.
Yeah, and and the other thing is that it goes back to you kind of got to make your own way, and it's you have like the little club like Jabbers, okay, you have that, are a lot of bands going to get to play down at the thing? They're so diversified down at Arts Quest, but they got like their niche, they're not going to bring in bands that sound like Iron Maiden. It's just not going to happen because they're bringing in a large audience of people of all ages, So they're not going to really do a show that's going to say, "Hey, we're going to have like maybe 200 people that we're going to pay all this money to run this open air stage," because they're banking on people coming and buying sodas and buying this and buying that. Look at Craig Thatcher. He shows up down there, man. It's packed. What does he do? Blues. And another thing that I was told by a record company years ago, and this I think still stands today. Name me, and I don't want to hear you got signed by this little record company, that little. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that at all. Tell me 3 different bands or people that made it big out of the Valley.
Out of the Valley?
Out of the Lehigh Valley. That were from the Lehigh Valley.
Bands or actual musicians?
Well, musicians, we all know Greg.
Greg, yeah.
How?
I was just going to say,
Greg.
wait,
We all know
got
Greg. But now, when I was starting this record company, they're like, you're in like this void. You're Philadelphia an hour south. You're New York and northeast, an hour. Get your address out of Allentown. Go get a P.O. box and say you're from Philly. Play some shows down in Philly. It's only an hour south. Play some shows up in the city. You know, how many bus trips were we on years ago?
Yeah, tons.
Countless. You know, play some shows up in New York. Play some shows in York. We're just talking about live. Where the hell did they start from? Where did Poison start from?
Yeah.
I don't know. Harrisburg?
Yeah, Harrisburg, York, Kicks.
Yep.
You know?
Well, Hailstorms, what, out of Lancaster?
Same area, you know, but play...
And they were at Backyard Bands competition in Allentown, you know? But no, there haven't been a whole lot of bands that have... I mean, I've talked to a couple people who said so-and-so is now playing with this band or is playing with that band out west or everything, but it hasn't been anything...
Yeah, I get it.
Definitive.
Yeah, and I didn't want to come up here and hack on any band about it. That's not what I want to do. The big thing is to help support, you know, you two and help give you guys the boost, you know. But that's part of it. And this goes right back to your scene question. Find your heartbeat. Find your heartbeat of where you want to be. Don't complain about everybody else's heartbeat and this one's not giving us a fair shake. You know what? I didn't get freaking fair shakes either. Yeah. You know, because sometimes I put my foot in my mouth and I didn't get a shot. But you know what? I had a listening audience of I don't even know. I had a microphone. I had a board. I had 2 turntables back then. We had a reel-to-reel. We had cart machines. I remember when we got our first CD player at the radio station. We were like, we didn't know what to do with the damn thing because nobody had them. You know, but Brian bought us one. You know, and it was just like I made my own way. I made metal into this thing, you know what I mean? So if you're in a band, you know, figure out who the F you are first, if you're going to play originals, and then go build it. But build it the right way. Don't bitch about, say, who gives it? That's yesterday. Who cares? Build it. Sure, it's great on the resume, but keep plowing forward. And if you run into a wall, you ran into a wall. Figure out how to drive down the road till the wall has an opening. Then go open. Don't complain at the wall. The wall is not going to open because you hit the right complaint and says, "Oh, sesame." You know, drive around it and make your move. You know, if I could build it, and I'm freaking... sometimes I think I'm the dumbest person I know. If I could do it, there's no excuse. No excuse for anybody in the problem. And I did it the hard way. I emceed at the music hall, and you know, every little freaking pub around. I to promote that radio show, I used to walk in and say, Can I host this event? Who are you? I'm Matt Metal from WXLV. Do I have to pay any money? No. Can I have a couple beers? Sure. Knock your socks off. And then when they saw that it worked, and I would do, okay. The next thing you know, I'm standing in front of people at the fairgrounds. You know, here's your sheet. It was a Z95 event, but whose little carcass was titling out there first? You know, and I'd be standing there right with them. You know, and it was just fun. You know, and I'd go to dinner and with record people up in New York, and I did it all myself, and word of mouth from everybody else. That's it. So that's what I mean. If I could do it, don't think you can't do it. You know, am I ever going to be like a major radio thing? No. Am I glad to be doing this iRock radio thing? It's fun.
Speaking of,
it's fun. So, iRock Radio is an internet radio station that Jay Steele, who used to be with me at XLV, and was one of my program managers, and you know, we used to butt heads a lot because I was there before him, and I had my way of doing things, and he wanted to change my ways, and I would look at him and go, listen, buddy, man, you can help me get better, but don't tell me to change completely whatever. So he came to me a while ago and said, listen, I'm putting this radio station together. I was going through the divorce and all that. I didn't have time. So now I have time, and I joined his staff at iRock Radio. There's some guys on from XLV from back in the day, some older jocks. There's some people that I don't know. And we're pretty much, it's an internet radio station. So I get my music, you know, I I know when my breaks are. When I have to talk, I do a little show prep. Like I didn't talk about Malcolm Young from AC/DC because it's all over the place that he's very ill and he had to leave the band. But I try to find different things, and you shove them in there like you girls do, and have some fun. And the show rotates. I think there's 6 or 8 of us, and we do 2-hour shows or 3-hour shows, and then it just gets logged in there, and it just rotates around for the week. And then maybe as we start getting more and more time, maybe we could do 2 shows a week. But it takes 40 minutes to talk. I send it all off on the internet, and I listen to it, and I'm like, oh, hey, that's me.
Now, is this a 24/7?
Yeah, 24/7.
So do they have a reel going? I mean, when there's not an actual podcast or a show playing?
Yes.
He has a set.
You could go on www.irockradio.me, and if you go on that, you'll see the song that's playing. It'll tell you the jock that's on the air, and if you want to hit stop, it lists all the stuff. If you want to see if there's a local concert somewhere in the lower right-hand corner, you put in your zip code. It will give you updated concerts coming up, updated weather.
Is there always a jock on?
There's always a jock on.
There is.
Yeah.
So there's always a human behind.
But we're not live. It's not. It's right. It's not live. It's not live radio.
Okay.
It's live when Lucas is sitting next to me singing "I'm So Sexy" or whatever the heck the name is at 5. Cracking me up because I'm trying to talk, and I keep that for my own self and then go from there. But it's a cool thing, So I have that going now. I'm going back up October 17th, back up to XLV, trying to get a live band to play, to do some stuff there. And it's funny because Pat Sork took over my show on Friday night, so he'll call like, "Hey, dude, would you mind covering for your own show that I took over?" He goes through this whole thing. I'm like, "Yeah, it's all right, Pat. I don't have the kids that weekend. I'll be up." So I still need to go up and get my own fix. I do miss live radio. I will tell you that much. I miss that it's like it's like a rush, because like here we can chop and paste and do whatever we want. If we're all too winded, you can cut me out and say Matt sucks and get him out of here. But there, when you
that's too much work, man. You're staying.
when you hit the button and the red light goes on, and then you hit the next button for your guests, you're live. And I mean, I instruct people: do not curse. Don't do it, because I'll tell you to leave, and 2, like, if it's an accident, what are you going to do? Like I said, hit the dump button, whatever. Let's not make a habit out of it. But when you turn that radio, you better be
ready to go.
You're ready to go, When you turn the mic on, like, you're tuned in to Matt Mel's show, 90.3 FM, that's the tag, blah, 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 you just heard, because I don't have a feed to show things. So you just heard blah, 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 blah. And then you talk maybe about, hey, what's going on in the valley? Hey, we have this, we have that. Or, what, I did this last week. You talk about whatever. Talk about your kids. I want to talk for 4 hours. I can do it. But then you're done, and then you roll into the next song. And then that gives you 3 to 4 songs, stop. 3 to 4 songs, stop. You have your breakers in there. You have, talk about drunk driving and all that kind of stuff. With college radio, you have to do that. But I miss that. Like, if I had time to go, as much as it would kill me to go to another college radio station, because my heart is always with XLV because they're helping to build that. If I had the time, I would, and they could help me make time, I would do that, But I feel bad that the school did that to them. That was a lot of work that they just put away. But yeah, check it out. It's you can find us on Twitter, iRock Radio on Twitter, iRock Radio on Facebook. It's throughout the world, just like you girls are doing, and Jeff will let us know, like, how, listeners are coming around through the thing. Even when we're at XLV, it's here at xlvradio.com. And even Chris will be like, he's our boss, Chris Andrews, and he'll, like, say, next thing you know, I'll get a text. Hey, just want to let you know that so-and-so from South Korea is listening right now. Give him a shout-out. I'm like, how in the hell do you know that?
That's so cool.
I don't know how he knows that, but he knows it, and he'll hurry up, he texts me. And I'm like, oh, hey. And then, of course, like me being an ass, always like, hey, let's play Loudness easy. Let's just fit something in what's going on over there. But see, that's neat. And that's a whole different vehicle that you girls have to promote your wares. Because who knows how long I'll do this. But to promote your wares, and where you can get, like I said, use Twitter. Twitter is a huge tool besides Facebook. Because what Facebook has done, unfortunately, now to people like you is, make events. Make the event. Hey, we got this show going on. Just so it takes an hour. It sucks that you got to point and click every person. So freaking what? Make events. And then, if you get 10 people to latch on out of 1,000, that's 10 more than maybe you didn't have. Twitter. Yeah. Hey, don't forget, we're sitting here with Matt Metal doing the Fire and Ice show. God damn it, is he a moron? Check it out. When we put it out. See, you when you're doing this, you should, like, I think you put up that you got pissed at me because I was putting running your Facebook feed up when we first started doing Facebook with the Matt Metal show of like every
your songs.
All this of a song at a time. And Ted was like, yeah, I guess we are getting a little blah, 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 blah. So then we started putting it up in blocks. What, if you can't take the effing blocks, sorry.
I didn't get mad.
Yeah, I think you said something that you didn't like. You didn't get mad.
And your notifications going off every 2 seconds.
Yeah, your notifications were blowing up your Facebook page.
Blow up your phone.
And then that's when we squashed it. So, like, I'll take every 2 breaks, and we'll type in the 8 songs we played, and we'll put that up. And then we always tried to do the notes. Because then you can put the notes there of everybody. And then when you're doing the notes, see, this is something else. When you're doing the notes of your podcast, you can put the songs, and then you put the band name. So when you throw the note out there, all those band names, because they have Facebook pages, all show up. Again.
Right.
And that's on your notes. Like I said, so maybe the next person you interview, get your Twitter feed on your phone and just...
Absolutely.
Matt freaking drank 5 gallons of iced tea. As dumb as it sounds, you're consistently throwing your name out there. My pen leaked. Amy had a poopy problem. You know what I'm saying? But you see what I'm saying? But you're constantly rotating it around.
Amy had a poopy problem.
Throwing around like a monkey.
Right. Or hey, check this band out you're going to hear on the Fire and Ice show. Right. Blah, blah, blah. We're playing Power Theory. Now, guess what? You just let Power Theory know if they're on Twitter, because it will come up that it's whatever, right? And then, here, I'll show you. Well, we'll see if Jay, unless he's having sex. Where is he here?
What?
I have no idea.
All right, so hanging with. See, I don't even know if I follow you. Are you at Fire and Ice?
At the Fire and Ice.
At the Fire and Ice? Hold on, I freaking misspelled it, and I shouldn't have.
Oh, it's with a Y. It is with a Y.
Is it and or a mark?
And.
Ice. Is it the Fire and Ice show?
Uh-huh.
Show. Having fun. Talking about Amy's poopy problem. Hold on. I always screw that apostrophe. Poopy problem.
Oh my God!
What are you trying to use an apostrophe for in poopy?
Oh, Amy's.
Oh my God! You're so not putting that on.
Okay.
Oh
At
shit, that's hysterical.
iRock Radio.
Oh my God.
Hashtag fun. Hashtag poop. Tweet. Right? There you go.
Oh my God.
So now, because I put at iRock Radio, all my other fellow jocks that are on there will get that. It's now, it's on
What
your
is your
thing.
Twitter thing again?
Matt Metal 28.
Maybe I need to get on Twitter myself.
Right.
I think I do.
Look, I'll give you another example. Jimmy Fallon. I follow the Fallon show, right? Here, music break at Stevie Wonder performs Sir Duke. Now I'm a Stevie Wonder. I like Stevie Wonder. Now I will DVR that tonight because I just saw that dumb little thing. Here's part of my food porn. Apple Seasons True roasted chicken and apples recipe. But Blabbermouth has all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, we get
Comcast, all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, so like
use it
to your advantage, and just while you're doing this, do it all the time. If you're out there in a band and you're listening, have a girlfriend. Hey, we're hanging here. Oh, hey, look at this is on stage. Oh, check them jamming out. Blah 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 song.
I've done that on Facebook. I've said at a certain place with this band, or
Yeah, Scotty Ian from Anthrax is a Twitter Nazi. He's all over this thing.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I need to get on Twitter.
All the time. Here's my food porn: Oreo cheesecake.
Oh, I think you need to like save that to your Twitter and
Hold
make
on.
that
There you
for
go.
us.
You favorite it and retweet it. Bang! Now it's on my page.
Now you have to make it for us.
I'm a good cook.
I know.
I will tell you that much.
Your daughter is a very good cook too.
Yeah, my daughter's awesome. I'll tell you what. It's not just my daughter. My mom. I don't give my mom big prompts enough, and she really does a lot of cool things as a grandmother with my daughter, and I gotta say that. How many more songs do you have to play?
2.
Yes! Can we talk after that?
Not normally.
Alright, well then we'll wrap it up.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so what did we learn tonight?
What did we learn?
Before I leave.
We learned
The teacher
one,
and the
Amy
student.
has a poopy problem.
Yes, that's true. That's
I fling it like a monkey.
She flings poo.
Like a monkey.
What else did we learn, class?
We learned that it's very important to tag your show.
Bands need to find the heartbeat.
Yes, bands need to find their heartbeat.
Everybody has a different heartbeat
Yep.
when it comes to supporting the scene.
Yep. What else?
What else
did we learn? How to use Twitter effectively.
Yep. You can use Twitter like an animal. Better than Facebook.
Yeah.
And you know who taught me that? It was Jeff Baker.
Huh.
Because when we did the last We Rock show, and he was explaining to me how Facebook has changed the event page because they want you to pay to promote your event.
Right.
Whether it's whatever. You know, and even when I do my landscape product stuff, that's the first thing that pops up when I put it out there. You could boost your page.
Whatever.
I just want it to show up on my page so I could boost it from my page. You know, I only have 150 look at it, and I put out like reseeding today. So what? But yeah, you guys can go crazy. You know, use the notes on Facebook. You know.
That's something we gotta look into.
Yep. And just
Definitely.
type it all. And you know what else is you have. As funny as it sounds, you have some pretty big name radio people in the Lehigh Valley that hang out. Like I hang out with Blake Dannon, you know. If you guys ever meet him, sit down with him and talk to him. He is so loaded with knowledge. What? He's arrogant. We're all arrogant in our own way. But really, if you break through, he is loaded with stuff. Look, I'm telling you, that guy knows his shit. Sam, another one that knows his shit. You know? Look, just ask him a million questions. He might be some things skewed, you know, and we all know Sam, love him. I love him. Yeah, I might not be happy with him right now, but I still love him. But the guy knows how to push the right buttons. You have Christine that played in She Said Sunday, another radio person. You could ask her, just, you know, say, hey, we're doing this little thing. If they want to offer you stuff to help you out, wonderful. If they don't, what did I say? Drive down the wall, find the next open door. Just don't worry if one it stops. Just keep driving down the road.
Yeah, we do have somebody who's willing to help us.
You have freaking
out.
AJ Fritz over here at Lehigh. Probably the biggest guy that nobody calls upon. Nobody. You know, has been on Z95, runs the radio station for Lehigh. The guy knows everybody. Ever listen to the show? The AJ Fritz's show?
Yeah.
Just listen to all the people he has on.
Yeah.
You know, he's a little radio dude now. And they still gets all those big names to come on his radio show.
What was in Tori with 97.9 X?
Yeah, there's Tori.
And she started what Jane's doing. Well, she had started it.
Right.
She has a local.
Yeah.
The local thing now.
I don't like that.
You don't like having that on mainstream?
I don't like how they do it.
I haven't really listened to theirs.
I don't. Well, because see, we started the local 6-pack at XLV long before they were doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel it was kind of like a rip-off. But we used to do it at different times, not at Sunday night at 11 o'clock.
You didn't used to be then. They kept
Right.
pushing it because the corporation took
Right.
over, and they
But-
kept pushing it later and later and later.
The other thing that I don't think you're allowed to do, at least I was told, you're not allowed to pre-promote what songs you're playing on national radio. At all. I don't care if it's recorded or not. I could be completely wrong. But I would like to see that show be done live. Not tape. That's a local show. Do it live. Bring in, here you are, you're Z95, you got this big audience in the Lehigh Valley. You put yourself out as the Lehigh Valley radio rock station, whatever the hell you call yourself. Don't tape the freaking local 6-pack. Do it live. Even if you're doing it at 11 o'clock at night, do it freaking live.
Yeah.
Do it live. Promote the local gigs. Promote your local wares. Promote. You want to get respect with that radio show? do it live and push the crap out of what's going on in your hometown.
Yeah, I agree.
Your hometown. You know, and that's another thing. You could even break this off. You could do the Fire and Ice show, and then you could say, hey, every month we're going to do a special just of our hometown. This is what we're offering here in the Lehigh Valley. We're not going to play this from this band. We're going to let you all know what we have to offer, maybe every 3 months. You know, or whatever.
Cool.
Do like a quarter show. Just say, hey, we're going to play Vega Fuse, we're going to play the Damn Dirty Apes, we're going to play the Council's latest, we're going to do this one, we're going to do that one. I don't know if Michael's still doing Black Fate. We're going to do this, we'll do that. All originals, but we're going to do an hour of this. And you know what? And we're going to see, maybe not Matt, we're going to try to see if we can get, hook up with so-and-so and not do it here, maybe do it somewhere else. You have the ability to take that anywhere where you have Wi-Fi and go do your damn show from there.
Yep.
If there's Wi-Fi, you can do the show. Or if you can somehow hook your Wi-Fi up to your phone to do the show from there. That's the cool thing about what you guys are doing.
I like that idea.
Well, I mean, I've always, like I was going to say since we were supposed to interview Ginger Crowa last week, and we had to reschedule because of the work schedules. But the thought crossed my mind, instead of them coming here on a Sunday, we go to their practice space.
Where they practice.
Yeah.
And just, hit them up. And that way, they're going to play live anyway.
Yeah.
That way, everything's there.
Right.
It's kind of like a impromptu show and stuff like that.
There's a girl down in Philly that does it's Philly, I think it's Philly 191 or something like that, and she does stuff from her house, like you're doing it here. But she also goes out and does live interviews while she's out and puts it on her show. And maybe the sound isn't great all the time. It's just the way it works out.
Blonde haired?
Yeah, Becca.
She's still doing that.
I think she's still doing it. Yeah.
Wow.
But that's the cool thing with this is you can do whatever the hell you want. Do whatever the hell you want. But I think that would be important for the two of you, and I think it would be important even for the big dog out there, is do something just for us. If you want to build a music scene, right now you're part of the heartbeat of the music scene. You're opening your trap, and the moment you stand on a podium and decide to do the show, you're part of adding blood to the hearts of the Lehigh Valley. It doesn't have to be all metal, Hey, we're going to do the call Arts Quest and say, hey, we do the Fire and Ice show. You guys got the big blues festival coming. I think they're doing it in February or whatever now. They moved the date, but it's coming back. You got a lot of local blues musicians. Can we come do our podcast from your show?
That would be cool.
Or hit up Music Fest and hit the polka tent.
You could do the
You could do an all polka show.
Do the whole polka. Well, look at we're at XLV. We run the whole the thing at Arts at America Blocks.
Yeah, the whole thing.
XLV, Chris, they MC the whole thing. And what are we now? We're not even on air. We're just internet radio.
Yep.
And we hooked that up when they were still up at the library, and then it just has transponded over. There's no reason in the world that even with Arts Quest say, hey, we're a little thing, blah blah blah. Can we set up a table? We'd like to do our podcast live. You could do multiple podcasts. You don't have to be there all the time. But do little events. Say, I don't know. We'll just say somebody's gonna have a record CD party. Doesn't have to be metal. Just say, hey, we see. Would you mind? We'd like to help promote your thing and whatever. Or Chicago's has. Now they've changed name. Maybe any little thing. If it doesn't cost somebody anything, why should they say no?
Yeah, when it could help them promote them.
Right.
As a venue or as a band.
And then the whole time we're at Chicago's and we're blah 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 tweeting.
All right, I gotta get on Twitter tonight. That's just what
Yes.
I'm gonna have to do. Matt Metal 28.
Got Metal 28.
Got it.
Got it.
She's just like, what the fuck did I?
No,
bring
I
you
Just
here
said
for?
no.
Look at the look
All
on
this
her face.
information. We should have been taking notes. Oh my god.
Oh no, it's in here.
It's in there.
there.
All right, that's good.
I just soaked
Listen,
it all up like a sponge.
I'm
glad you came.
I'm me too. I had a lot of iced tea, and we had all the dogs, and I need to finally. I've not been home from work, and I'm gonna go see my lovely date tonight. But
Nice.
I had a great time. I'll come back and we talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about.
Sounds good to me.
Talk about world
good.
peace. We can talk about world peace next time.
Well, we got 2 more songs that we're going to close the show out with.
Yes.
All right. And I'm going to screw this name up.
She always butchers names.
Schemata Theory. Schemata.
Schemata.
Schemata. The hell is that?
To see if it would break your concentration.
Schemata Theory with their song Courage is Contagious. They're from Reading, Brookshire. So I'm assuming that's over in England. Will you shush? You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and their website, schematatheory.com. And then the last band that you will hear to close out the show will be Bound Alive out of New Jersey with their song Second Smile. And you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Reverb Nation. Check us out on Facebook. Check out Mr. Meadow on iRock Radio.
Yep. And WXLV.
And WXLV.com. And anything else, people?
I'm getting a jump on this hole.
Oh my gosh.
Pimping ourselves out here right now. Get a jump on it, man!
All right, well,
Thank you very much for allowing me to come in and
Thank
be part
you
of your
so
evening.
much.
Thank you for coming.
I will come back.
And
Yes.
since everyone is ready and tweeting and the fingers are moving, I'm just gonna say our normal tagline. Until next time, music feeds a soul. Take care.